Most AI demos show a prompt and an answer. That is not what this is. This is me using Gideon like a writer's room in a Canon department. I choose the source, I make the calls, and I do the final edit. Gideon helps me see the scene faster. I do not start from a blank prompt. I start in the library, inside the project. The episode outline already gives the scene context, placement, pressure, and limits. This matters because Gideon is not inventing from thin air. I am choosing the source material and giving it a controlled working context. For this pass, I am not asking for finished pages. I'm asking for an outline with questions and choices. I want Gideon to give me a shape I can push against. This is Gideon's first read. It gives me scene structure, options, and unanswered questions. That is useful because the real work starts when I react to it. The receipt is part of the trust system. I can see what Gideon read, what source depth it used, and which project material shaped the answer. This is the center of the workflow. I read the outline, I answer the questions, I make choices. I correct anything that is too broad, too polished, or wrong for the scene. The scene becomes mine in the notes. Lucienne calls because Kale mentioned seeing Calder at South 101. Calder is close enough to come home in 1 minute and still pretending he's not really there. Rook knows the house. Dean pretends not to like the dog. Calder wants the shower, the laundry, and the old room, and he's ashamed that he wants them. This is why the writer cannot disappear from the process. If a line sounds fake, I cut it. If a beat turns family concern into interrogation, I correct it. Gideon gives me structure. I decide what belongs on the page. Then I give Gideon the marked up outline. These are my notes, my answers, and my choices. The request is simple. Work them in and return an outline only. That is where Gideon starts to feel like a writer's room. The scene is clearer now. It's not just dinner. It is Calder being close enough to come home and still trying not to admit he needs home. The final call is quiet. Calder does not make a speech. He goes outside with Rook, comes back in with laundry, and Dean tells him his usual room is ready upstairs. That is the emotional turn. Once the outline is strong enough, I turn it into a scene card. The scene card is the canon department. It holds the scene's function, pressure, source rows, continuity boundaries, and handoff. This is what makes Gideon more than a chat window. The card gives future passes a memory object. What the scene is, who matters, what it cannot violate, and where the next pass should begin. From there, I can ask for a beat outline. Gideon is no longer guessing from a loose prompt. It has the episode outline, the scene card, and the scene pulse. The beat outline gives me the next layer down. Not final pages yet. A scaffold I can draft from, with beat level questions where the scene still needs a human decision. The session also exposed where Gideon has to get better. Scene cards, outlines, and drafts need obvious homes. If a saved destination is confusing, the workspace loses trust right when the writer needs it most. This is the workflow I am building toward. Source material in the library, a first structured pass, human notes, a final outline, scene card, and a beat outline so I can actually write from. Gideon does not replace taste. It multiplies it. I bring the source, the world, the standards, and the final edit. Gideon keeps up.